Welcome to our house for another amazing stories unwrapped. I hope your new year is off to a wonderful start. I see 2019 as a new chapter that God is writing in each of our life stories. And I think that the best lines are waiting to be written. I guess that you would call me an incurable optimist. I mean, if God is writing my story, then it has to have a great ending. In fact, I would say an amazing ending. Even the scary stuff, the bad stuff, the tragic storylines, even when villains show up to harm me or if I mess up because of my stupidity or my sinful actions. It's all part of the story that's moving toward a triumphant ending. I promise you. After all, the good book says that all things work together for those who love God and are called according to His purpose. He has a purpose for you. But here's the one thing that can rob you of a great future. It's allowing yourself to be mired down in the mistakes, the regrets, the mess-ups of the past. To be paralyzed by guilt from the past. To keep obsessing on bad stuff that happened last year or even years ago in your childhood. I can tell you this, the past will rob you of present opportunities and it will steal future victories. So you have to let go of your past mistakes. You have to let go of the regrets of things that could have been, might have been, should have been, but weren't. You have to let go of bitterness over things that other people did to hurt you. In other words, you can never move forward as long as you're looking backwards. So today, I would like to encourage and inspire you with another true story from my recently released one-year book of amazing stories. I call it Finding Redemption, or putting the grace back into disgrace. Jack was the golden boy of British politics. Born the son of a baron, he was educated at England's best schools, Harrow and Oxford. In 1940, he was elected as the youngest member of Parliament. And as a second lieutenant in World War II, he distinguished himself in action in North Africa, Italy, and Normandy. The boy wonder rose to the rank of brigadier general and was awarded the Order of the British Empire. He came home to a hero's welcome, was touted as a future political superstar. Over the next few years, Jack rose steadily up the ranks of government until he was appointed as the Secretary of State for War in 1960. But power corrupts, and so does the world of glamour. Jack and his wife became part of the swinging 60s lifestyle. When he wasn't at cabinet meetings, he was in discos, dancing the night away with jet-set playboys and high-priced call girls. His closest friends were worried. They whispered that Jack was in over his head. But Jack figured that he was bulletproof. Yet even Superman has to watch out for kryptonite. Jack's came in the form of Christine Keeler, a beautiful model turned prostitute. When Jack saw her swimming naked in the pool of a wealthy doctor, it was lust at first sight. As the Secretary of State for War carried on his torrid affair with Christine, his lover was also sleeping with a Soviet spy. Now, maybe no state secrets were passed during their pillow talk, but when news of Jack's affair hit the press, it was the biggest bombshell of the Cold War. At first, Jack did what politicians too often do. He lied about his affair. But the cover-up is almost always worse than the sin itself. And his lies, like all lies, were eventually exposed. Jack was forced to resign in disgrace. The Prime Minister of England was forced to resign. And in the following parliamentary elections, Jack's Tory party was swept from office and from power. Jack fell into suicidal despair. blaming himself for the house of cards that came tumbling down around him, that came tumbling down around his party and the nation. How does anyone find redemption when buried in the rubble of his own self-destruction and shame? Now this is where Jack's story becomes absolutely amazing. The fallen political star took a dingy office at Toynbee Hall in the rundown section of London, doing charity work among the city's poor. Cynics said that he was trying to rehabilitate his image. Friends worried that he was doing self-imposed penance to make up for his sin. But Jack quietly continued his charity work for 40 years, confounding the cynics, raising money for the least, the last, and the lost of society, until old age and ill health confined Jack to a wheelchair. When he died in 2006 at the age of 91, the nation remembered him not for what he did in 1960, but as a champion of the poor and the oppressed. Former Tory leader Ian Duncan Smith said of Jack, "His enormous efforts will have changed the lives of thousands of people, and he will be sadly missed by them and many of us." His friends called him Jack, but the world also remembers him as John Profumo, the man whose affair with a prostitute nearly brought down the British government and endangered the West during the Cold War. His amazing story encourages us that grace is part of the word disgrace. St. Paul wrote this, that where sin abounds, grace abounds even more. Now maybe you've messed up too. But like John Profumo, your story isn't over yet. The God of grace still has more chapters to write in your life story. So you should grab hold of this hope. Failure is not a disgrace unless you allow it to become the last chapter of your book. But I would challenge you this day that there are more chapters waiting to be written. Your life story isn't over until the last page is written. And the last page hasn't been written yet. Doesn't matter what happened in the chapters before. They were just part of preparing you for this chapter of your life and for chapters yet to come. Now I can tell you that not everything might be good in the year to come. There will be villains like there are in every good story. There will be cliffhanging moments when you wonder if you're going to make it, like in every great story. There will be moments of tragedy. There will be moments when you will wonder whether you're going to make it. There will be moments when you will be tempted to fall into despair, into hopelessness, to doubt, to become cynical, to become skeptical. But if God is writing your story, even those bad parts of your story actually may become the foundation for a great and powerful future. I believe this. You never go through desert times that God isn't going to use you to take others across the same desert. There are no wasted moments in your life. There are no accidental encounters. Every moment of your life, every meeting of your life is a divine appointment. So you take hope. All things really do work together for those who love God, called according to his purpose. John Profumo was a superstar who let power get to his head. And he had an affair with Christine Keeler that brought down his life, brought down his marriage, brought down the government, brought down almost his nation, endangered the whole world during the Cold War. But he didn't let that keep him from moving on, from having another chapter in his life, where for the next 40 years he helped people that the world had forgotten, to become better. I believe that sometimes the mistakes that we regret, the things we wish had been different, the should have beens, the would have beens, the I wish had beens, can become the basis for a great, great future. So don't give up hope. And if you'd like to be encouraged every day, I would give you the opportunity to write to robertapeterson.org we'll send you this book, the Book of Amazing Stories. We'll send it to you with an autographed copy, and if you want to give it to someone, send it to someone as a gift. We'll autograph their name for you and give them a small message in my handwriting, and I know they'll appreciate that. And if you happen to be in Naples or in the Naples area this Saturday night on January 12th at 7 o'clock, Barnes & Noble at 41 and Pine Ridge at the Waterside Shopping Center. I'll be there signing books. That's at the Barnes & Noble on Saturday night, January the 12th. I'll be signing books, my book, The Book of Amazing Stories. Come out, be there, and I'd love to meet you and just hug you and let you know I love you. And I do love you, and I do hope for the best for your future. Joyce and I both are praying for you and your family. God bless. Write me, and I'll try to write you a message back. We'll see you on Thursday, 12:50 in the afternoon for another Facebook Live, another amazing story unwrapped. God bless.